Hey, what's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode in my Football Manager series. This is episode number 8, and today we're returning with potentially the penultimate episode of the season, but hopefully not, as we take on two of our final 4 championship opponents. First, Sheffield United away at Bramwell Lane and Fulham at home. Before we play those games though, show you how Millwall have been getting on off camera. So of course, in the last episode, you saw our fantastic cup run finally come to an end as we were beaten 3-2 by West Brom away at the Hawthorns in a really great game in the quarterfinals, but sadly, that was where our adventure came to an end, and that meant we had to focus all of our attention on the championship between now and the end of the season, and you saw our 2-0 victory over Nottingham Forest at home as well in a really good response. I played 3 games off camera, and there's actually not that much to show you because we drew them all and picked up 3 points from a possible 9. We started with a goalless draw away at Portman Road in a 0-0, and then took on Bristol City back at the Den where it finished 1-1. Cooley Woodrow on loan from Fulham gave the away side the opening goal, and then the goal we scored, to be fair, was absolutely beautiful. We scored an amazing team goal where there were just so many passes. It was like watching Barcelona. It was a really, really lovely build-up, and eventually, after a really, really, really long passage of play, Aidan O'Brien latched onto a through ball and made it 1-1. So a point there. Not a terrible result, but when you look at this here, the third and final game off camera, a 0-0 draw away at the Macron against Bolton, who are right now at the bottom of the table. Yeah, pretty disappointing. 1 goal in our last 3 games, 3 points picked up from 9, and that is why, as we head into the final 4 fixtures of the season, we are in 11th place. There is still a chance we could make the playoffs, but it's looking highly unlikely now. We have got a -4 goal difference, the joint worst of all the teams around us, and we're 8 points off Derby County in 6th place. It is possible, but it's highly unlikely. So I'm not expecting us to do it, but you never know. It's possible, but it's highly unlikely. That's the best way of putting it. But as we do head into the game, you got to keep the faith. We've got Sheffield United, who right now are 1 place above us in the table. So a big game for both teams, and you really feel like a draw is not enough for either side. Both teams need a win if to have any chance of making the playoffs. So heading into the game, this will be our team. There is one thing to report, and that is that Jordan Archer sadly broke his finger in the game against Bolton. Fair play to him though, because he carried on for the entire game, and he's now out for the rest of the season. So a big miss there. Archer, of course, picked up his first 2 caps for Scotland earlier on in the season, which we were delighted about, and now he's out for the rest of the season. Martin's been a decent deputy in the games he's played in the cup, but we'd much rather have Archer between the sticks, and that is a bit of a shame to be missing him for the final 4 games. So young Harry Girling has been promoted and will now sit on the bench for us for our final 4. So this is our team then for the first game today away at Bramwell Lane. We've got David Martin in goal, back for Meredith, Hutchinson, Cooper and McLaughlin, with Ferguson on the left, Wallace on the right, and in the middle Ben Thompson and Sean Williams, and up top together Lee Gregory, who has been performed a little bit, and Steve Morrison as well. And on the bench it is indeed young Girling, Shackle, Romeo, Saville, Marshall Cahill and Aidan O'Brien as well. First game, it's Sheffield United. Only a win will do. Let's get it. Come on, you Lions. Obviously, as I did say, we weren't targeting the playoffs this season. We weren't even thinking about the playoffs this season. We were just thinking about safety. So to be where we are, to still have a mathematical chance here with 4 games to go, means that regardless of what happens to me, this is going to be considered a highly successful season. When you factor in an FA Cup run as well, reaching the quarterfinals, we've done really well in our debut year. And, whatever happens, happens. I'm not expecting much, but, win this game and we still have ourselves a chance. So let's go get these 3 points here. And hopefully we'll get the first chance, but instead it looks like we'll come to Sheffield United with Clark finding Lundstrom, and then George Baldock whips in a cross, headed clear by Jake Cooper, and John Fleck picks it up and plays that wide towards Ender Stevens, who crosses to the far post, and there is George Baldock, who I've mentioned many, many times on this channel I used to play against when I used to play school football, and he's just finished like his brother Sam, as the 2 wing-backs combine and Sheffield United take the lead. So lose this game and it's definitely all over, and we've had the worst possible start. 9 minutes in, great cross by Stevens there on George arriving at the far post, heads it home and makes it 1-0. So Sheffield United in front, worst possible start. I think that's my unofficial claim to fame, that, knowing that George Baldock never scored against me in school football. But then again, who turned pro, right? Anyway, Ferguson crosses towards Gregory. It'll be flicked down to Morrison, and there is our response just 7 minutes after the Blaze took the lead. It's Steve Morrison, the captain, with the goal. I thought Gregory got the assist there, flicking on, but instead, it might have taken a deflection off one of the Blades. And the captain, well, we need a captain sort of performance today if we're to get back in this game. And it's a great way to respond there from our leader. Ferguson crossing, Gregory went for it, but actually it was Lundstrom who headed it backwards. And that is a brilliant finish by Steve, our top scorer this season, with, I believe, his 12th of the year, making it 1-1. Plenty of the game left to go, right now balanced who is going to get the third goal and the second for their team. Well, another highlight straight away as Ender Stevens plays a 1-2 with O'Connell from the throw and launches it long, but Ben Thompson wins it back, and now Shane Ferguson on the ball for the Lions into Gregors, and Gregory finds James Meredith. Great season he's had for us. Crosses there is Morrison, and Wallace at the far post with a great chance for us to come from behind to lead, but could only put it wide. I think it might have hit the woodwork actually off the post, and thus it is still 1-1, but a very action-packed first 23 minutes here. And another highlight comes as Ben Thompson intercepts and launches long towards Lee. Morrison is in the middle. Can he pick him out? No, cleared. Williams left it, then gets it. Then he's tackled, Stevens clears, and now a chance for Sheffield United on the break. It is Leon Clark for the Blades. On the ball, finding George Baldock. Got there first, his cross blocked though, and now a chance for us on the break. Shane Ferguson plays it down the flank to Lee, but it's going to go straight to Sheffield United as they will recover. Oh, this has been a really action-packed start. You can see both teams really going for this. They know that a draw is virtually a defeat at this stage of the season. If they have any chance of making the playoffs, they must win. And here is Wilson, bearing down on goal. Martin with a save, still 1-1. 9 minutes to go before the break, still tied at 1-1, but that could change here, and it does. Young James Wilson sent through by John Fleck. And unfortunately, Sheffield United are back in front. That was a brilliant little ball there by the Scottish midfielder over the top. And as Wilson latched onto it, outpaced our back line and fires it past David Martin for Sheffield United's second. Wonderful finish that as well. And again, we can't afford to lose this game. Lose this game and it is all over. Even a draw, really, it's all over. So we'll need to do something in the second half if we are to keep our slim playoff dreams alive. It's looking unlikely though. Sheffield United just on top and looking too hard to stop. But a throw for the Lions here just before half time. Jed Wallace crossing. Gregors is there. But fires it wide. And it's still 2-1. So at half-time, we've not played that badly. But as we do still trail, I am going to say to the boys what I normally say at the break, which is that we've been unlucky because it always seems to relax them and they gain confidence from it. And again, I said before, that seems to be a really, really beneficial team talk at the breaks when you're not playing well enough to get the 3 points. So second half to come, there's still plenty of reasons as to why we could get back in this game and claim a point or possibly all 3, but we need to tighten up at the back because right now we're struggling to keep the Blades quiet. Anyway, first highlight the second half, it does come to the Lions as Jed Wallace down the right crosses, blocked by Stevens. It will drop to Sean Williams. And Sean plays it across towards Meredith. Ferguson slid in there down left-hand side. Tries to take it around Baldock. Crosses, headed clear. Williams is there. Wallace on the ball, has Connor out wide and finds him. McLaughlin crosses. There's Gregory. Yes, get in. Lee Gregory with a header and the perfect response 4 minutes after the break. A great cross by the former Fleetwood right back, and Gregors latches onto the end of it. And like I said, he's picked his form up in recent weeks. All started with that brace against West Brom and a really, really nice finish there with a head into the far corner. Sheffield United 2, Millwall 2. Which way is this game going to swing next? Another highlight though with 22 minutes to go, and it does come to Sheffield United in a really, really fun game as John Fleck picks it up and finds Anderson. And Anderson into Fleck, back out wide towards Stevens. And Ender Stevens drills one in. It will drop to George Baldock all alone at the far post who crosses. Cooper heads clear. Back to Stevens. He'll cross. Baldock's in again. Oh, great save by David Martin though to prevent George from bagging a brace. And it's still 2-2. Those wing-backs are really hurting us today. But 18 minutes to go. Still tied. Can either side claim a massive 3 points late on? So we are into the final 4 minutes of normal time. It is still 2-2. It's been an action-packed game to say the very least here at Bramwell Lane. A really, really good one between two of the newly promoted sides to the Championship. But sadly, neither side is going to be satisfied with the result come the final whistle, because as that clearance is made by Conor McLaughlin, that was a classic. That was a really, really great game, but unfortunately, neither side will be happy with it because it effectively means now that both teams will miss out on the playoffs. The boys are delighted after I praised the comeback, and I'm pleased. And again, I've said this a few times, I'll say it again, I really do feel like saying there's no pressure or you've been unlucky is the more beneficial sort of team talk in this year's FM. But as Fulham secure their playoff spot, it does look as though now we are not going to make up the ground on the teams above us. Because as you can see, we are dropping down to 12th place as Ipswich now overtake us. We are, to be fair, we've cut the gap. Derby got a point, but as you can see, we're 7 points off the playoffs now with 3 games to go. Well, it's still doable. It's still looking very, very unlikely, but mathematically, it is still possible. But after 4 draws in a row and 4 points from 12, it's not really playoff form, is it? It's not good enough. So here we go then, it's the second and final game of today's episode as we play host to Fulham, as they'll be going for revenge after we knocked them out in the last 16 of the FA Cup, as they are going for an automatic promotion place and I believe could secure it with a win here at the Den. So lots riding on this game for both teams. Let's see how we can get on. Now we will keep an eye on quite a few of these fixtures here as well, see how the teams around us get on during the game. So heading to the game, stick with the 4-4-2 despite 4 successive draws, but we'll make some changes. Shackle's going to go in for Cooper and play right centre-back. I think I might possibly play Romeo for McLaughlin as well, but Connor did get the assist in the last game, so we'll keep Connor out there for now. But I'll play Saville for Thompson in the ball in midfield role, and possibly Marshall for Jed Wallace as well, down that right-hand side. So, yeah, just the 3 changes then, and this will be our team. Martin in goal for Meredith, Hutchinson, Shackle, and Connor, with Shane on the left, Ben on the right, and in the middle, George Saville and Sean Williams up top together. They scored against Sheffield United. Can they score again? Lee Gregory and Steve Morrison. Bench is Girling, Cooper, Romeo, Thompson, Wallace, Cahill, and O'Brien. And after 4 straight draws, we must get a win if we're to have any chance of making the playoffs. Come on, Millwall, it's still possible, but we need the 3 points. I think this might well be the game where our playoff dreams are mathematically ended. It's going to be very tough to beat Fulham here, despite beating them in the round of 16 of the Cup. But that is the perfect start. Ben Marshall, who scored a screamer on the weekend, has just drilled one in to make it 1-0, and that's his first of the season, as we do have the lead 5 minutes in. The boys know what's at stake, only a win will do, and Ben Marshall, with a wonderful goal, drills it into the bottom corner, and the Lions do go in front. So Fulham going for a place in the Premier League, trailing by 1, and what a start for Millwall as we keep our playoff dreams alive. Come on, you Lions. Highlight soon afterwards as well, as Martin launches a goal kick long and Steve wins it in the air, and here is the goal scorer Marshall through the gap towards Gregory, but Ream is there and David Button clears. Picked up by George Saville though, as we have our foot on the gas pedal here and go in search of a second goal. Ben slides it, I was going to say slides it through to Connor, he should have done, but Session made a tackle, and now is a chance for Fulham on the break. Mitrovic on loan finds Camara down the right hand side, he'll slide it through to Cyrus Christie who can cross, and there is Mitrovic to head it just wide the post, in great form on loan from Newcastle. Really should have made it 1-1. So at the break, we are still leading by a 1-0. And as you can see, there are some positive results happening to teams around us as well, where Bristol City are 2-0 up on Hull at Ashton Gate. Birmingham are beating Sheffield United at St Andrews as well. There's a couple of big results in our favour right now, and this one's the biggest, and it's happening right here. So I might put the latest scores on actually, so we know what's going on around the grounds as the highlights happen. But right now, still leading by 1. We're doing our job. That's all we can focus on. Just got to keep this going. Come on, Millwall. So first highlight, the second half falls here. 53 minutes in, we still lead by 1. Got to hang on to these 3 points, but sadly the first chance is going to fall to Fulham of this second half as they go down left and cross. And there is Mitrovic, who again has missed a target from a header and really should have scored. But as we still are up by a goal, and with those results in our favour right now, half an hour remaining, if we can hold on to this, 2 games to go, there is a definite chance we could still make the playoffs. Come on, you Lions. Norwich have now gone 2-0 up at Deepdale. That's a bad result for us coming there at Preston. But again, even though I've got the latest scores on, I'm trying not to be distracted by it as they're now 3-0 up, because we just need to focus on what we're doing right now. But as Conor McLaughlin goes in, that's going to be a second booking for our right back, and that puts us in a precarious position of free kicking the dangerous area and now reduced to 10 men. So we could play Marshall at right back, that's definitely doable, but I think what we're going to do is go 4-4-1 now, and we'll take off Gregors, we'll keep Morrison up there as a defensive forward to help back on defence a little bit, and we'll bring on Romeo from the bench as well. So, 21 minutes to go, still doable, but now our job is going to get a lot tougher being a man lighter. Come on, you Lions, got to hold on. Cyrus Christie, though, right away, has just levered one in from range and said to Ben Marshall, anything you can do, I can do better. Wonderful little goal. And that goal does put Fulham back on level terms as they go for that automatic promotion spot and possibly end our playoff dreams here at the Den. It was a nice little ball into him after taking out 2 blue shirts, and Christie doesn't take a touch, just rifles one past David Martin, and that may well do it. But there is a highlight directly from kickoff, and now down to 10 men. I mean, a point is now a defeat, as we know. We'll need to win our final 2 games, and because of the goal difference swing, it's not going to be enough. So we may as well not go defensive and just settle for the point. We need to get a winner, but instead it's Fulham coming forward. Rui Fonte on the ball. There's men at the far post. There's Mitrovic, and he's missed a couple of chances, but he's not going to miss that one, and that is going to do it. Millwall are not going to be making the playoffs in our first season, and we'll know that with 2 games to spare. We had to hold on to the 3 points, but instead Connor's red card means that Fulham come from behind to lead. Rui Fonte down the right crosses, Mitrovic heads home at the third time of asking, as Fulham possibly will secure their promotion to the Premier League today, and Millwall's playoff dreams are over here at the Den. Oh, and as if things can get any worse, I've just made my third and final change, and now Jason Shackle is forced off for injury. So we're down to 9 men. We're down to 9 men now. We're going to play with no forward. And I don't believe this. We're down to 9 men. This is a miserable way to end what was such a successful first season in charge of the Lions. Reaching the quarterfinals, we had a chance of playoffs, and we've totally bottled it, unfortunately. So, yeah, Fulham are definitely going to get the win now. Down to 9 men. And sadly, this is a really frustrating run of form. Just 4 points picked up from a possible 15. No wins in our last 5. And as Rui Fonte makes it 3-1. Yeah, this is a miserable way to end what was such a happy, successful season. It's 3-1. It's Fulham that have extended their lead. They've come from behind to now lead by 2. And as they go for promotion, yeah, it's officially, mathematically all over. Playoffs are not achievable in the first season. But do you know what? Despite this really poor run of form to end the season, it's still been a great debut year for us. And we'll come back for the season finale on Saturday morning, where we'll assess the season in more detail. We'll talk about our objectives heading into season 2 as well. And hey, do you know what? There might be some boos ringing around the Den right now, but I'm not going to be too critical of the boys at the break, at full time, sorry. I'm going to say unlucky, boys. It would have been nice to win, but there it wasn't to be. But I am going to criticise Connor, though, for the red card, because we've had a lot of red cards this season. And my discipline clearly is not strong on this team. And that's it. Wolves have won the Sky Bet Championship. Sheffield Wednesday and Brentford is guaranteed playoff place. And that is going to do it. Shackle's out for 2 to 3 weeks as well. I'll issue a warning to Connor for the 2 yellow cards. And yeah, as you can see now, confirmation, mathematically, Millwall can no longer make the playoffs. And the highest we can finish is 9th place, or possibly 7th, but no, possibly 8th, but realistically it's going to be 9th at best. But that will end today's episode of the Football Manager series, guys. So a big thank you for watching. I really hope you have enjoyed it. And if you did enjoy today's episode, then please do drop a like, as likes are of course very much appreciated, and read out the channel out as well. And again, we'll return with the season finale. It's the final 2 games of the season, which now are effectively meaningless, but we want to play it, wrap up the season, hopefully on a high, and assess our goals things in the new season as well. So I'll see you for that episode on Saturday morning, and that will be the final episode of Season 1. Bye.